Hi again, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earthwatch on Tuesday, November 28, 2023 on our planet. Hope you're all well. Hope you watched my last video on our incoming space weather. We're going to get a beating. So once again, I'm just going to go through how it's going to affect us. I'm very happy to do it because I care about everybody in the world. I don't say go to the playlist and look through many hours of videos just to get viewer counts or to get money. No, that's not me. I'm happy to sit down with you today. So let's go through it again. What we can expect starting about 48 hours, maybe less. So our brain primarily operates off of electrical impulses, as well as our heart, as well as chemical, but primarily electrical impulses. When you introduced highly charged particles, it does a whole number of things to our physiology, our brains, and our hearts. So I want to cover two things. The neurological responses. The highly charged particles is from the coronal mass ejection containing billions of tons of highly charged particles, mostly protons, some electrons. And they do reach us. So the neurological is something physical, something that we feel, such as headaches, migraines, including those who don't normally have migraines. As with the upper level M-class flare that just popped off, because it was Earth directed and large enough, many people felt the radio wave, which only takes 8 minutes traveling at the speed of light to reach us. So many of you probably felt a sudden stabbing pain, temporal region, maybe a frontal lobe compression, slight vertical, dizziness, feeling of unwell. You're going to feel that again starting in a couple of days. More importantly, however, is the neuropsychological effects it has on us, making us go cuckoo. This is more important than anything else because it involves our emotions and our cognitive abilities. So starting off with such things as emotions. Knowledge is the key factor here. Knowing. So it can affect your mood swings. Make you irritable, argumentative. You can have racing thoughts in your mind, or you can have brain fogging, blackouts. You can be irrational, elevated levels of anxiety. Behavioral changes. You can be easily triggered. In some cases, you can be triggered into rage and violence, murder. There's increased incidence of suicides or thoughts of suicides and admissions to psych wards through emergency departments in the hospitals. You can have cognitive deficits. So cognitive functions is your ability to learn, memorize things, problem solving, your speech, reasoning, creative thinking. All those things can be affected. On the topic of mental health, this is extremely important, and I am speaking from personal experience. If you have any loved ones in your family or your friends who are already suffering from, let's just say, for example, autistic spectrum disorder or ADHD or schizophrenia, any mental health, can be easily triggered and amplified. Anxiety levels can be elevated. Depersonalization. I'm going to throw in one thing I never talked about before, and that is resurfacing traumatic experiences can be brought out. Anything that is buried deeply can be triggered and brought out. You need to remember all of these things if you have anybody suffering from mental health illnesses. Starting in a couple of days, all these things could be triggered to include psychosis, psychotic events, extreme rage and violence in the most kindest person. And again, I'm speaking from personal experience. So those are some of the things that's going to make us go cuckoo. Other issues. Please watch carefully any person in your family or friends that have any cardiac issues. Keep them at rest. Keep them hydrated. Watch them closely. Watch their anxiety levels. Watch their heart rates. Watch for the symptoms that they may be going downhill. This also includes anybody who might, let's just say, high blood pressure, strokes. A transient ischemic attack is a little stroke. Other conditions might be multiple sclerosis, flare-ups, arthritis, flare-ups. All these things we must watch out for, starting in a couple of days. And we don't know yet if that upper level M-class flare popped off as CME. Probably. We shall see, and I will let you know. So again, we have the two CMEs from two separate filament eruptions, one after another, followed by a large coronal hole opening. So when you see that big black dark region on the sun, it's releasing the solar winds at an accelerated speed. So we get a 1, 2, 3 punch, and now we have this M-class flare, which could still pop off into an X-class flare. Knowledge. Having the knowledge in hand and what to expect. So, starting on Thursday, the 30th, 0200 UTC. So otherwise, Wednesday night, if you're on the West Coast, starting around 7 p.m. and continuing for who knows how long. So if you think that these things might affect you, and you're doing anything like, you're planning on things like climbing tall ladders to put on Christmas trees on your lights, but you think, well, that dizziness and that vertigo, maybe you might want to think twice, for example. So also, the effects of the highly charged particles, crustal penetration. We can expect, as usual, an increase in seismic and volcanic responses from our planet below our feet. Please pay attention to Papua New Guinea region. That is where that large volcanic eruption was. That went to 60,000 feet, followed by the 6.6 earthquake a day or so ago. And now we have at least 6 all surrounding that volcano. And now we have this incoming space weather. So once the CME starts impacting, once that highly charged particle starts being absorbed through the crust, and it causes what's called bubble nucleation of silica-rich magma, again, coming up through the mantle blooms to the underside of the lithosphere in which we walk upon. Boom. That's it for now. Take care of yourselves and take care of your loved ones. maybe even try, and many don't understand it, try and explain to them what may be happening. I do to my daughter. I had to handle her with kid gloves. I had to be very, very careful for the next few days. That's all for now, folks.